Alright, I just want to quickly show you how to calculate the energy index.
This is in the energy audit. In order to get to it, you have to click on the Client tab, and it's the third tab over called Energy Index. So once you've created the client, then you're going to click onto this tab and you're going to fill it out, and it will generate this total heating. It's BTUs over, I don't remember, heating degree days over square feet, and it just gives us an indication of how much energy that client is actually using, and not necessarily, how tight just the home is itself, but this starts to give us a little insight in how the family's using the house and how energy efficient they are. In order to get this to generate a number, you do have to fill out all of the fields here. So the first field is your fuel costs, and you have got to select the fuel cost library that is going to be associated with this job. So right now you're selecting the appropriate setup library, and so once you've done that, if you get into this tab, it will show you all of the fuel cost libraries. And just like you do on the other section of the audit, you've got to select the right fuel cost library because it's going to calculate the fuel cost based off of that. You're going to put in your floor area just in your square feet, and this is the square footage of conditioned space. And then you have to put in your heating degree days, and it's at a base of 65 Fahrenheit. And this is just heating degree days. We're not talking about cooling degree days as well. Now, the biggest question here was, where do we get this information?
And in order to make sure that each agency is using the same heating degree days database, I found a great resource that will calculate the heating degree days exactly how we need them to be calculated. And I put a link to that on our resources page. If you'll go to our resources page, here's the URL, and scroll down to the NEAT audit section and just find the link for the heating degree days calculator. If you click on that link,
it's going to take you to Energy Star's website, and they have a heating degree days calculator. And if you'll click on that calculator, I like this calculator because if you'll just fill in these fields, it will give you exactly what you're supposed to put into the audit tool. So you're going to select your country, your state, and then the zip code of the house. And that's going to pick the closest weather station. And then this year ending field, so what you're doing with your heating degree days is you're actually picking the heating degree days which represent the period of time that you're taking the utility information from. So if the utility information came from April of 2017 to March of 2018, then you would select the year ending 2018, and you would select March 31st. So this is going to take the 12 months before this date, and it's going to give you the heating degree days. So just really quickly, I'll show you an example. We're just going to pick Utah, and I'm going to pick my zip code. And if you put in the year ending, you hit calculate, it's just going to give you this number. We're after annual heating degree days. So 4829, that's the number you put in. So I go back to my audit tool. I put in the 4829, and then you're going to put in whatever the heating fuel is. If you have one heat source for the house, you just put in the primary heating fuel. If the house has two heating sources that they are regularly using, you need to put in both of them. But you're going to put in the heating fuel. You're going to put in the total cost. What was their total bill for the 12-month period that you're looking at for natural gas? So add up all 12 of their bills and put that number in. And then what it's going to do is the audit will automatically assume that 70% of that total bill goes towards their heating. Leave that alone unless you have a bunch of data to back up why it should be a higher or lower number. But in general, you're going to leave that at a default of 70% and run the energy index. But that's it. If you'll select the fuel, if you'll put in the cost, and then, so let me just delete the cost out and show you. So just once you figure it up, so say the total cost of $524 for the whole 12-month period, and then it's going to estimate that 70% of that went to the heating, and it calculates, again, the BTUs used over the heating degree days over the square feet gives us this ratio. And you're just going to enter that number, the 6.1 will go into the BWR. This 6.1 will also show up at the top of your client completion report. So if you're looking for a place you don't need to write that anywhere else. You can put your client completion report in the file, and it will have that energy index included.